I have the rights to do that to your boys and your girls. I think it's appropriate. As a heterosexual black man, I'm not white, I'm not the bad one, so I should be able to do it, right?
You are the people in history they warned us about! They warned us about people like you!
No? So I can. That's misogyny. I'm a rapist, you know? I'm KKK, Ku Klux Klux, Republicans. I can't do that. So why can't LGBTQ, ABDCD do this? Do you really think I feel comfortable with this? Do you really think it's proper that you can go to kids that are vulnerable to a person that is in a position of power, authority, and you're gonna be like, look, I'm this, I'm that. Yeah, what? You're not a human being? You're an alien, a double dragon, just like Papa Smurf? What? SpongeBob? Okay guys, you gotta chill. You really gotta chill with this stuff. The group is so secret that if the kid agrees with it or not, you're not even allowed to tell the parents. They keep it all hush, hush, hush. And they know we got the power. You don't believe that? Okay.
As normal, natural, and what is supposed to happen. Because students and kids, I think inherently they do trust teachers as just the people who, are supposed to know what's going on. And therefore, if they're doing something, surely it must be okay. But as we see, the teachers who were involved in this subversive LGBTQ indoctrination attempt, they actually went a step further, trying to make it seem like a discussion of your sexual identity at school was actually okay and even a good thing. As Schreier writes, I'm the teacher who runs our morning announcements. Caldera can be heard to volunteer. That's another type of strategy I can give you. I'm the one who controls the messaging. I mean, literally, this is a mask off moment and they're just admitting it freely. She says, everyone says, oh, Miss Caldera, you're so sweet. You volunteered to do that. Of course I'm so sweet that I volunteered to do that, because then I control the information that goes home.
I wonder what would happen if I said that when I was teaching kids with a bunch of hot little girls or boys, and I say that as a man, would you even allow it? Then why the heck is the LGBTQ allowed to do it?
The main reason for me about why having queer representation and queer educators and queer education in the classroom from a young age is so that these kids will grow up to either be wonderful and accepting allies who have had this normalized in their lives from a young age.
For the first time this year, students have been allowed to put openly LGBT content into our morning announcement slides. Caldera then gushes about the student team she assembled to help with the announcements. 3 of the kids on the team, 2 of them are non-binary, and the other one is just very fluid in every way. She's fabulous. So it's actually a nice group, and the principal may flinch, but she flinches privately. So these teachers are trying to create an atmosphere in the school where the topic of sexuality doesn't only come up in these secret club meetings, but this is also stuff you hear coming at you from the morning announcements, and the teacher's favorite students, the ones she pays the most attention to, well, they're the ones who are displaying all of these gender non-conforming behaviors. Just so much of that article was concerning, and so it should come as no surprise that once it was released and thankfully started gaining a lot of attention, the school board eventually did take action. As the San Francisco Chronicle reports, one day after that article came out, Caldera and Baraki's presentation on the difficulties of running their GSA would prove prophetic. Leaders of the Spreckles Union School District suspended the club. 4 days later, the district opened an investigation and placed the teachers on administrative leave. Now, as far as I'm aware, that investigation is still ongoing, and funnily enough, outlets like the San Francisco Chronicle are actually very sympathetic to these teachers. They see them as just standing up for the rights of identity for their students instead of, I think, portraying them as the groomers they actually are.
And I have a big issue with that. I'm like, they are freaking by my standard. Because if I did that and we are the same, right? If a man can feel like a woman and bada bing bada boom, I can say if I do the same thing with another person, why am I a and they're not a I'm I'm like, people, come on. This is disgusting. Look, you think that was the start? No, man. There's more. They try to keep it a secret.
According to RAINN, which is the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, signs of grooming often include things like victim selection, where abusers often observe possible victims and select them based on ease of access to them or their perceived vulnerability. We also see groomers gaining access and isolating the victim. Abusers will attempt to physically or emotionally separate a victim from those protecting them and often seek out positions in which they have contact with minors. Next, we have trust development and keeping secrets. Abusers attempt to gain trust of a potential victim through gifts, attention, sharing secrets, and other means to make them feel that they have a caring relationship and to train them to keep the relationship secrets. Now, in the context of this specific conversation, we won't be focusing so much on desensitization to touch, but the normalization and discussion of sexual topics, that absolutely applies here. And as RAINN explains, abusers may discuss sexual topics with victims to introduce them to the idea of sexual contact. And finally, groomers also attempt to make their behavior seem natural to avoid raising suspicions. All of the warning signs that we've just gone over are being displayed by teachers in public schools who are attempting to use their positions of authority in order to groom and indoctrinate young children into embracing LGBT plus whatever progressive ideas. And in no story is this more obvious than in Abigail Schreier's article, How Activist Teachers Recruit Kids. California Teachers Association, or CTA, held a conference advising teachers on best practices for subverting parents, conservative communities, and school principals on issues of gender identity and sexual orientation. Spears went so far as to tout their surveillance of students' Google searches, internet activity, and hallway conversations in order to target 6th graders for personal invitations to LGBTQ clubs while actively concealing these clubs' membership roles from participants' parents.
I'm going to say like Porky Pig. Don't come at me like meat. Not everybody is a pea. True. But why if I did that, I'm a pea? You know, if I did that, I'm a pea. So why is nobody else getting the pea that I think deserve it? But you would call me a pea if I did something like that. Are you gonna tell me, no, it's normal? Because the fact that you tell me, oh no, that's normal, that's even worse. It proves my point. You're already trying to normalize it. MAPS, you heard about that thing, right? MAPS, you know, minor attracted person. Don't use P because it's so negative. We have to use a different word because it's more comfortable to the kids. When they heard P, they're afraid. When they heard maps, they're thinking like Dora. Here the map, and the map, come on, people. This is going too far.
Do you think that I'm a boy or a girl? No. Oh, what do you think I am? I think you're a boy and a girl. And that gave me a certain amount of euphoria.
Middle school kids apparently do not have endless interest in sitting around with their teachers during lunch discussing their sexual orientations and gender identities. So we started to brainstorm at the end of the 2020 school year, what are we going to do? We got to see some kids in person at the end of last year, not many, but a few, so we started to try and identify kids. When we were doing our virtual learning, we totally stalked what they were doing on Google when they weren't doing schoolwork. One of them was Googling Trans Day of Visibility, and we're like, check, we're gonna invite that kid when we get back on campus. Whenever they follow the Google Doodle links or whatever, right, we make notes of those kids and the things they bring up with each other in chats or emails or whatever. Baraki, one of the teachers, can be heard to say, beyond electronic surveillance of kids' internet use, quote, we use our observations of kids in the classroom, conversations that we hear to personally invite students, because that's really the way we kind of get bodies in the door, right? They need sort of a little bit of an invitation, Baraki says in the clearance. And as we can see going through the things these teachers have said, yes, they were actively trying to encourage students to keep secrets from their parents and also, you know, just in general to undermine that relationship that exists between these students and their actual caregivers. But that's not where the secret keeping ends, though. Later in the article, Schreier also shockingly explains, as Caldera said on one podcast, topics for her equity club are selected by her middle schoolers. So the kids come, they have something on their mind, they want to talk about it, and then we have some structures in place for how to have those kind of complicated conversations. And they include those group norms about respect. What happens in this room stays in this room.
Put your face up.
Boom. What you gonna do about it? Boom. Nothing.
What happens in this room stays in this room. I bet a bunch of people that got raped at a young age, that is what people told them. Or women, or anybody, or in prison, or whatever. People don't snitch. Snitches get stitches. You know? I just find it so weird that you sound so much like the worst of the people. But you're always like, yeah, but it's a gray zone. We can be there or die. It's okay. But whenever I do something like that because I'm a hetero, it's a problem. I don't know, man. Look, this is my MS. I'm not joking. I'm not Porky Pig. But I find it sad. You can't do this to kids because I can't do it to you. Let's say, for example, if you get invited to my house, right? And I know you don't believe in God. You see, I'm a very nice, chill person. We become friends. But then one day when you're, hey, can I drop off the kid? My kid is maybe a little non-binary or something like that. I don't know, just chill, bada bing, bada boom. And then the kid comes to my house and it's like, hey, you have a very nice family and everything. I wish mine is a little more balanced. If something is weird, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, opportunity. I'm gonna jump into that and I'm gonna change him. Talk about God. Believe in God. He can cure you. God can make you feel like anything you want. You're not going to be depressed anymore. Which usually LGBTQ they're having a huge depression situation. I mean, no wonder they have like a humongous suicide. But people keep blaming other people. Now, that is not the truth. When you do the investigation and see where the heck is coming from, you would realize their frustration is coming just like other people in the world. They just don't know how to remove it. They don't have anything to remove it other than pronouns, things that trigger people to keep looking at them. The people that they see being in the LGBTQ that are happy, they don't care what people think about them. They live their lives. Oh my God, something happened. Yes, something happens to everybody. I have bad days too. I don't go blaming people. The more you blame people, the more you stay there. You created yourself. A huge bunch of the happiest people from LGBTQ. I'm in Barcelona. I'm surrounded by gay people. Happy gay people. And you're going to be like, yeah, but in Barcelona, somebody got killed. In Barcelona, every day somebody gets killed. They just don't talk about it. You dumbo. I see it every freaking day. I saw a guy fight at a fruit store. He fell down accidentally. Dead. What are you on about? It's so weird and I'm tired that you go after kids because it gives you power to touch the most valuable thing in our lives. Other people's kid. Make them. Didn't sleep for hours. Wah. Take them to the hospital, pneumonia and all these things because they won't survive without us. And suddenly you're gonna come, oh, I'm in a position of power just like a cop. Click. I know, man. You know what's even worse? Let me just end it with this. They check what the kids search on Google and gonna be like, oh, he searched that. Let's go for him. Just imagine. They have the same thing that if somebody is looking for what is God, then we're gonna put up a huge list. Hey, Muslim, Christian, Hindu, everybody, go talk to that kid. Change his mind. Would that be accepted? Then why the heck LGBTQ is getting all these privileges so they do not commit suicide? But this is my last video for today. I don't know, it's not my last video. I'm gonna do whatever I freaking want. But that's my life, not kids. Like the freaking video. Share this. The parents need to see this. Come on, man. The parents need to see this.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk criollo colombici jam jam turloqueta verdeta welcome. Den bida mi a tu iniciativa, padrei ku indica e também que sung sativa. Te ainda no que acepta ku eta medicina Bob di nang di eta causa rebeldia.